Okay, guys, welcome back to our America Show. We are going to be, I guess, talking about our Egypt trip, recapping it.
We're going to be chatting with each other later on in this episode.
More than we already do about Egypt and the things that we saw and what we got up to. This is fun.
I'm actually looking forward to chatting with you about it and wrapping it up. I've been looking forward to this. Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah. Yeah. I've been uploading all my pictures into Mega, and I really did a good job this time at taking videos and pictures. I'm not usually that kind of guy, right? And this time I just might as well take them. You know, we can put something together later. Especially with the stuff we were looking at, with the evidence from, apparently ancient technology and stuff.
I got 1,400 pictures.
Yeah, that's quite a bit.
It's a load.
Did you take a lot of videos?
No, not as many videos.
I took some B-roll. You know what I got? I got some of our
B-roll?
tour guides on the bus. So when Yusuf was doing his speeches, I was recording out the window. And I mainly did it for the audio, but you've got like just a good video of like Cairo side streets and stuff, or like the city of Cairo.
How's the quality?
I haven't listened to it all yet.
How's the video quality? I thought it would be good
to have some. What?
How's the video quality?
I think it's really good. I mean, the quality on that pixel is really good.
Is it good when you put it up to like TV size though? That's when
I don't know.
That's when it tends to fall apart.
Really?
Well, maybe not all the time, but it can be disappointing for sure.
Really? Okay. Well, let me. Are you talking about ones from a moving car compared to just a normal video of walking around, or any video from a phone?
Any video. Send me. You said they're mega, right? I'm gonna try watching them on my TV.
Something wrong about what? Oh my God! I can't open up the videos. If something goes, there's an error message on my videos.
All of them.
Let's see. Yep. Decoder error not supported. So maybe I'll try downloading one and then watching it and seeing. But I mean, this is not something we should be doing while we're chatting. So we'll figure that out later.
Face for radio. Yeah. So what you went up to? You made it back okay. You got extra customs, of course.
Oh my God! Yeah, well, we'll talk about all that in the Egypt.
That's part of the Egypt review. Your customs.
It was going to be. Yeah, I wanted to do like an overall before we get into the ancient mystery part, kind of logistics to travel, our experience, and my sickness.
Your sickness.
I've been under the weather, dude.
You have still.
Yeah, I got my ears, my.
Still from the COVID.
I don't think it's COVID. It's, you know what? My legs were so swollen on the plane. They were hurting and swollen from those fucking flea bites. You should see how big the red blotches are, dude. I was worried I was totally going to fucking lose my legs or something.
Lose your legs.
On the plane, they were fucking hurting and itching. Like, I could hardly walk off the plane. Then I'm in customs and I'm like, I don't want to show the guy my fucking flea bites because they'll fucking haul me off into some quarantine or something.
It's pretty funny.
I had to tell him what your antibiotics. Well, what are these antibiotics for? I don't know. They're not mine. Like, I almost got busted because of your antibiotics you left in my bag.
Busted. I don't think it's illegal.
You're not supposed to bring that stuff in there. Anyways, we can get it.
I think it's all fine.
Or do you want to talk about all that now?
I think it's fine to bring antibiotics in.
It's not, dude. It's on the list. You're not supposed to. But this guy was so cool because he saw my ivermectin. He's like, "That's awesome. Take that stuff."
You really smuggled it in. Way to go, Dunlop. Get it. Take whatever you want.
He's like, "I'm not supposed to let you have that, but I'm not gonna take it from you because I think it's a good thing to have. Don't take the jab," he says. I got myocarditis. I was forced to take it. My wife and my kids, and it reminded me of that time when you and I were when I was coming home from the States, and they were giving me a hard time, and the lady was trying to be all like sympathetic with me, like, "Oh, well, my kids didn't take it," and then I started thinking, I wonder if he's just trying to like warm himself up to me, maybe to make it maybe I'll open up more. But he did seem super genuine because he's like, "Have you been watching the hearings?" And he was like, "Dude, about 20 of us here we're all pushing. We waited as long as possible, but we were going to lose our jobs. So we had to do it. But my wife and my kids didn't do it. I got myocarditis now. He says, don't take it. Because he whispers to me, goes, be honest with me. He says, he looks at me in the eyes, be honest with me. Did you take it? And I go, no, I didn't. He goes, good, don't do it. It was fucking awesome, dude. And he's
awesome.
Like, the ivermectin, he
number?
didn't know I had. He looks at the bottle of vitamin D, which has got like 500 ivermectins in there. And he's like, oh, you got vitamin D too. That's really good.
Did you get his number?
No, I should have. I didn't tell him about the podcast.
Don't tell the border guard about the podcast ever for any reason. I don't care how cool they feel. Sing.
No matter how much they warm up to you.
No, don't matter. So he whispered in your ear, did he? Don't do it. How close was he?
He was across the table from me because we were going through my luggage. Like went through all my luggage, right? And they had to count I had a little bit of leftover U.S. cash on me. So he's like, I got to count this cash because some people say they've got this and they've got more. And that, so just so you know, you got to do that. And you got to, and he went through all my, you snuck by him because he was just finishing with somebody else and he turned to the right and I saw you scoot around to the left and I'm like, I was going to like beeline right behind you, but he caught me kind of. And I was like turning around. I'm like, I better not like try and get away from him. So he's asking me a whole bunch of questions on like, what did you bring back from Egypt? What are you doing in Egypt? We were with friends, it was all that like, were you with friends? Were you with a group? And
they ain't stopping me. I'm
friends
brown.
from all over the world. And what?
I'm brown. I just look like I might be coming back from visiting my relatives.
And he said, what did you bring back that wasn't in Canada? And he's like, he's trying to give me examples. And I'm like, I know what you're talking about. Just so I said coloring books and some jewelry and some little stone cats and stuff. So he was he's making a list. I'm like, what is he making a fucking list for? I knew I was going to get pulled in.
That was the last guys on the way out.
Last guys,
or was that the guy who was just walking around?
No, he was at the ramp going out of the luggage area.
Yeah, the last checkpoint.
Yeah, the last checkpoint. Yeah.
Yeah, they got you. I mean, you look guilty. Beard.
And so it was him. I went in
because you're so slow. I mean, I can't believe how slow you are going through those airports.
Dude, my legs were fucking gonna collapse. Not only were they sore from the bites that were infected, they were sore from climbing through the fucking pyramid. My hips were sore. After going all the way down that chamber, that was the night before. We had no sleep on 3 planes, about 7, metal detectors or whatever. I mean, I was probably radiating.
Oh, yeah. Your legs are swollen.
Dude, did you see how bad they were? I took pictures. I didn't even want to share the pictures. I'm like, people are going to think I got monkeypox.
Yeah, they're pretty bad. You did look pretty monkeypoxy. Is it better now?
And I don't get bites. Well, no, it's not. It's not better yet. It's getting better.
Is it still swollen?
No, the swelling's gone down. I had them on ice. I had them up a bit on ice, and I've been having baths with salt and essential oils. And the first time it happened, the first night in Cairo, I was scratching it, and I took my jeans off, and I'm like, holy fuck, what happened? Because underneath my calves, there's all these red dots, and it's super itchy. And so I put a hot towel with thieves oil. I had my essential oils with me, and I scrubbed them down with this thieves oil, and it seemed to really dry them out. And actually, it seemed to make a difference. And then when I got cream from the pharmacy, that kind of it helped. It seems like it helped finish off the healing process. But when I put just the cream on the way back, when this happened in Cairo on the last day, I didn't have the oil handy, so I just put that cream that they gave me on, and it seemed to just make it way worse.
Yeah, that's tough. My bites are all better. I just had like 3 that were kind of pesky, but they're better.
You think they do something about the sand fleas at the pyramids? Both times was on the Giza plateau.
What would you have them do? Just fucking pesticide the shit out of the place? Like just dump some Monsanto shit on that?
I don't know. I mean, maybe give out some natural fucking like bug spray stuff, some of that good like
maybe you just gotta dress
stuff.
Better.
Dude, I had the pants on the first time and the shorts on the second time, and both times were bad. So it doesn't have anything to do with me dressing.
But you had pants with short socks.
I don't think that. You mean I should have worn like knee-high socks on the plateau? I mean, that would be the last thing on my mind. I would never ever want to wear knee-high socks. I mean,
you could wear proper boots with pants over top of them,
and that would have made maybe that would have made a difference.
I did all right.
Yeah,
with the boots.
Well, I didn't.
But you didn't do as bad as the other dude.
I don't want to wear boots and long pants in the middle of the 25-degree weather in the desert.
But it's a desert. I mean, I just think the desert, you should wear your boots in the desert. It's not the beach. It's the desert.
Yeah, the one guy was his legs were pretty scary. Oh my God. All the dots almost connected. His legs were almost all red.
I wonder if his thing was all fucked up. I hope he's okay.
I think his was older. They were also from the first day when I got them. So, anyways, I don't know. My ears are still out of whack. I'm sleeping pretty good, but I'm waking up really early.
From the COVID?
Fine. I don't know. Do you think we all had COVID? I don't know.
Yeah.
Let's not go there. Not go there. It's just a minor cold.
You got bioweapons again.
Yeah, it's not feeling as synthetic these days. These
it's been run through a couple billion people.
Versions.
It's been run through a couple billion people now. You know, it's got to get less synthetic every time, every round.
Yeah,
because they're not making new ones. I don't feel like, it's just like cycling through the people. This disaster this bullshit that whatever it is that they've released on us is now just flying around forever. Glad I don't have those shots.
What?
Glad I don't have them fucking shots.
Oh yeah.
As a fucking wild card.
Oh, I know. I don't even want to talk about it.
Why not?
That's not because this is the regular show. We'll talk about that on Outlawed. We have another show, Grimerica Outlawed. It's a completely different podcast feed. The second half is subscriber based, but this is where we talk about most of this, like this other kind of COVID shit and crimes against humanity and stuff like that. We got a couple great shows coming out.
All right, what do you got?
Well, I got a couple listener emails I want to read you because I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna have to get back to this guy. I don't think I've got his email. If you're emailing us on the website, make sure you put your email in there so we can reply to you. Do you want to do a jingle, or do you not have jingles?
Well, I do have jingles. I don't know what jingle to play. What jingles do you suggest?
It's just content. It's just spamgram,
And now another edition of the Grimerican Goodies by the people.
I think this is 2 emails from the same guy, and I want to reply to him because I want him. He won't hear this episode.
Why not?
Till maybe 6 months from now.
I don't get it.
Well,
will I get it?
Yeah, just wanted to say that you guys have an awesome podcast. I only started listening to them during lockdown here in the UK, and like a sheep, I started listening to Joe Rogan, but found Randall Carlson, and from there, I went to the Brothers of the Serpent, but once I had finished those, I chose you guys next. And I've been doing between 8 and 9 hours a day, 5 days a week to get me through work. And you are my new favorite. I love the way you both are with each other and you sound like good friends and give each other shit, but don't get offended like me and my pals. Plus, like Darren, I was born in March of 81 and I like to smoke weed. So I feel a good connection with you. Sorry for getting creepy, LOL. I realize I'm unlikely to hear this read out on the show, and even if I do, it will be 7 years into the future, as I'm only on episode 144.
144.
Thank God the sound quality got better after those first few episodes, huh? I hope RPJ is still around.
Nope. RPJ hates us.
And I love the fact that he has a better grasp of the English language than Graham.
Ha!
And someone needs to go through and put all the times Darren has corrected you together. It would be hilarious. If I knew how, I would totally do it. But for now, I will say, keep up the good work, and I will hopefully buy a t-shirt or donate something with my Christmas bonus if I catch up by then. Oh, and I had thought of these for Darren, too. Graham, I don't make tires Dunlop, or Graham, I have never raced around the Isle of Man on a motorbike Dunlop, mainly because Dunlop seems to be a winning name in that race. Sorry, I'm stoned and rambling, so I will let you be. and I thought, kind of Darren got karma from all that making fun of me, because now he edits all my mistakes out of audiobooks. So, I mean, how perfect is that?
Graham, mispronunciations of all ages Dunlop. I was thinking, I could bring that back. People send me stuff all the time still from that.
From what?
When I used to call you Graham.
Oh, yeah.
Something dumb.
Oh, yeah. When did you stop that?
I don't know. It just sort of wore off. Remember?
We ran out of them, like we ran out of the UFO quotes.
Yeah,
I mean, I went through a whole
list
of like hundreds of UFO
we
quotes.
Did. I came up with like 200 grams something Dunlops, and I just ran out.
So here he is again. And again, I don't have his email, so he's not going to be able to hear this. But I'm interested in knowing, like, how he saw if we've changed over the years, if we've gone
alt-right.
Yeah. Or these other things, like it'd be interesting to know what he thinks, because everything's changed. But because there's not many people going from like listening to every episode from the start to the finish. So here's another one. Just realize
especially not at that pace. I mean, 5, 6, 7 episodes a day.
Just realize how many episodes you guys have, and don't think I have enough hours of work to be finished by Christmas, but I'm trying. Keep up the good work. I haven't heard RPG for a few episodes now. Hope he's still around.
He's blocked me on Twitter. You know who else blocked me on Twitter? I just noticed. Sticks Hammer.
Again? No, he did years ago. He did.
Yeah, I'm still blocked.
Yeah, can you get yourself unblocked? I'd like to have him on the show.
Well, that's how I noticed I was blocked. I tried to tweet at him, and it wouldn't let me. I don't know how. Yeah, I can't.
How do you get yourself unblocked from a situation like that?
He has to unblock me.
I know, but how do we get a hold of him to unblock you? I mean,
not on Twitter.
I'm sure
I wonder why
he'll do it
me.
now, because you and him had vaccine fights like 6 years ago.
Oh, is he pro shots?
No, this is way before. This is like when you were fighting the battle before COVID.
Yeah, I'm an anti-vaxxer, like right for all of them.
I know.
So
I know, and he was like,
so he was a pro-vaxxer, and now that the COVID shots happened, he's okay with my anti-vax stance. Is this what's this boils
this
down?
This is what's brewing in my head. Is that what you're thinking? I think he'd unfollow us, I think.
I don't remember fighting with him over vaccines.
Yeah, I just remember you saying a couple things, and you were a bit pissed off with him. You didn't, because I was commenting on him. I like how he's doing these sort of occult books, and his political takes very interesting, and you're like, yeah, I don't like him because he's he's pro-vax or something like that.
And he blocked me.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But that was a long, long time ago. That was literally, I would say, 5 years ago. Speaking of 5 years ago, this Wayne, who's emailing us, had a lucid dream the other night, but as usual, I killed myself off and woke up purely because it's always a life-threatening moment that makes me realize it's a dream. Then I just go with it and die. LOL. Sorry if you aren't doing the dream thing anymore, but I will be caught up soon. Take it easy, guys from the UK. So
nice. I like it.
Yeah.
It's like a time machine. He must have just got through like the great fortune cookie prank. All that good stuff.
Oh yeah, probably. Eh? What was that 128? What was that one again?
I want to say 139 is when it started, but it's hard to know. The Rick Simpson one, maybe?
I can't remember.
I should prank you again. It's been a while. All right, what else you got?
Well, I got like
Oppo.
I got yeah, it's kind of an Oppo, but it's just something I kind of saved. I haven't really read through it yet, but it's small enough that I wanted to. Because we talked to a couple guys on. There was some people, all different sorts of people on the Egypt trip. We had a couple guys that were kind of more materialists than I don't even know if that's the right label, but there was some skeptical people there, which was good. I mean, there was a variety of people, but definitely had some discussions around consciousness and physics and materialism and stuff like that. So I thought this sort of thing that I have here on my Instagram would be applicable to read.
What's that noise? Looks military to me. Definitely military. Probably classified too.
Dishfire, Prism, Sentry Eagle, Sigma, Mannequin, Artichoke, MK Ultra. Operation Project.
This is from a post from Robert Edward Grant. He's kind of one of those guys in the resonance group of people, like Nassim Harriman's group. He's that mathematician that people keep telling us for years and years we should have him on the show. Because there was some talk about simulation theory, of course, and we have Archaics coming up on the show, who all his research has led him to believe that we're in a simulation. He calls it the simulacrum, actually. So this says he quotes Robert Edward Grant quotes a Scientific American article. It says the universe is not locally real, and the physics Nobel Prize winners proved it. And this is from October 2022. So this is Robert's. No, actually, should I read? Let me read the paragraph in the article, and then I'll read what Robert said about it. But one of the more unsettling discoveries in the past half century is that universe is not locally real. Real, meaning that objects have definite properties independent of observation. An apple can be read even when no one is looking. Local means objects can only be influenced by their surroundings, and that any influence cannot travel faster than light. Investigations at the frontiers of quantum physics have found that these things cannot both be true. Instead, the evidence shows objects are not influenced solely by their surroundings, and they may also lack definite properties prior to measurement. As Einstein famously bemoaned to a friend, "Do you really believe the moon is not there when you are not looking at it?" This is, of course, deeply contrary to our everyday experiences. To paraphrase Douglas Adams, the demise of local realism has made a lot of people very... And then it cuts off. So I don't know if it was very angry or uncomfortable, but Robert says, a major shift in the physics world. Materialism is officially on its deathbed. Local realism has been proven to be false. This means that things not observed are not there. They are simply a wave of potential that, once observed at the speed of light, collapse into form and realism. In essence, we see what we expected to see. Hermeticism and spiritualists the world over have been saying this for a very long time. The universe is mental. All is mental. So what are the implications of this new paradigm? Is science finally proving spirituality? Pretty awesome, eh?
That's not too bad. How come we didn't have him on the show?
Oh, I just haven't got around to him. We might have tried a while back. There's a long list of people. Yeah,
a long list.
He seems like one of the cooler dudes that we should have on.
Cooler dudes.
Yeah. I love all those resonance guys, man. All those. That's my favorite crowd of people to have on the show. Like, they were all fantastic guests.
They're the cooler dudes.
The cooler dudes.
Are you on that list?
Sure.
Of the cooler dudes? What about me?
Sure.
Right. Thanks. All right.
We are in an igloo. We are in an igloo, according to our guest who's at episode 144. I mean, that's probably before the igloo gets smashed.
That's way before the igloo gets smashed. For sure. The igloo must have not got smashed until like episode 300.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
250, 300. Did it get smashed? Almost got smashed. That'd be interesting to know. You could probably type it into the app. I don't know if the app's still in the App Store.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It might have got taken down.
We got removed. I still have it on my phone. It still updates. But I don't think you can still get it. So, Grimerica Outlawed, we just had Greg Carwood on. If people want to check out that show.
Yeah.
People seem to be liking it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was fantastic chat. More stuff's coming out, dude. I mean, even today from what we talked about last night, dude. I mean, crazy stuff.
The Pizzagate stuff?
Yeah. Yeah.
What came out today? Oh, we can't talk about it here.
Yeah, let's just wait till Outlawed. I mean, it's just more connections with U.S. politicians and stuff. It's just like it's unbelievable. And we have another Outlawed guest coming on that's been writing books about this for years. So that'll be going. We'll be going deep into the empire and the pedo state in Outlawed coming up. Our next episode.
GrimericaOutlawed.ca. If you guys want to check out that show, you could just like type Grimerica Outlawed into your podcast player and it should pop up. And you could check it out, see if you like it. If you like it, maybe you could sign up. Head over to adultbrain.ca if you want to see the audiobooks we've been up to. We just had a couple more of those come out. Fate of Man came out. And what was the other one? Wonders of the Invisible World. Which one?
That's the Cotton Mather book about the witch trials of Salem, 1692. It's super fucking creepy and relevant to what's happening today. Because it's like virtue signaling and cancel culture back then in the late 1600s. I mean, they were basically like on trial and they're like, she looked at me funny. She grabbed her wrist and my wrist is sore. Like it was this weird sort of group psychosis that was happening. And then if you didn't agree with them, they would accuse you of being a witch. It's very much like today if you are, silent is violence kind of thing, like, oh yeah, I don't agree that she's a witch, then you must be a witch too. I mean, this is the type of thing. So that's pretty interesting. I might be able, let me see if I can just get a quote here from one of these books. I keep some stuff. Kill a second of time here. I'll try and find something.
Kill some time?
Yeah.
We could use your support. Grimerica.ca/support. If you can, when you can, sign up for a monthly, make a one-time donation. We have been having a hard time for support. As the inflation in the world gets more expensive, the first things to go are your podcast subscriptions, especially if it's just for a free podcast. We could use for you to pick up the slack. Grimerica.ca/support. Sign up today. Please.
Yeah. The other thing is like we've got this double, I think we're going to do a double release of DB Cooper episode coming up. And we spent our own money to go all the way to back east, do the interviews and all that. And we're not asking for money specifically for that or anything, but we did use our own money and we want to put that out in our free feed, the Value for Value feed. We don't want to make money off that app of telling Rick McCoy's father's story, but that's just more reason to donate to help us out.
That's right. Grimerica.ca/support.
You want to do a quote jingle or
a quote jingle? Is it a quote jingle?
It's a quote from the book that just got released, The Wonders of the Invisible World.
So it's not really a quote. It's like an excerpt.
An excerpt. Yeah.
I don't have an excerpt jingle. But
I'll just say it.
Okay.
When she came to the place of execution, she was silent until the prayers were ended. Then going to the stake where she was to be burnt, she thus expressed herself. All you that see me this day, know ye that I am to die as a witch by my own confession. And I free all men, especially the ministers and magistrates, from the guilt of my blood. I take it wholly on myself. And as I must make answer to the God of heaven, I declare I am as free from witchcraft as any child. But being accused by a malicious woman and imprisoned under the name of a witch, my husband and friends disowned me. And seeing no hope of ever being in credit again, to the temptation of the devil, I made that confession to destroy my own life, being weary of it and choosing rather to die than to live.
And she got burned?
Yeah. And she's just saying like her whole family was ruined, everything was ruined, so she just took the confession, right? So that's a pretty good example. right there.
Sounds like a great book. Contact at thecabin.com. We've got that fabulous event coming up in Mount Shasta with the fabulous Greg Carwood over at the Higher Side Chats. We were just talking to him. We were just talking about a chat with him. It's going to be great to hang out with him for a few days. We got Owen Hunt, Joe Root, Brandon Powell. We'll be doing all sorts of magic stuff and manifestation tricks and like Wim Hof training and breath work, and be great. It's going to be a fun episode or a fun event, and there's some spots left. So sign up. Come on down, hang out.
Right on. So, Egypt.
Egypt.
You ready for that?
Fleegypt for you.
Fleegypt. Oh, I love it. That's a good one. Sand Fleegypt. So in general, what an amazing trip with UnchartedX and the Khemit School of Ancient Mysticism. That's Yusuf's tour company, and the Brothers of the Serpent, of course. I mean, I wouldn't do it any other way, honestly. Honestly, dude, I don't even know how I backpacked around there a month 32 years ago. Like, it must have been a shit ton of work. Just figuring out prices for everything. Imagine all that stuff we did and having to negotiate everything on your own. Oh, we did so much this trip. Like every day was packed with one or two sites, and they just took us all over. It was amazing.
Yeah, it was a good one. Where did you stay? In like hostels?
Yeah, hostels and like those cheap like the hotels that you see in the middle of Cairo.
Yeah, must have been pretty ghetto.
Yeah. You know what's changed in 32 years?
The garbage? More garbage?
All the garbage I saw there is probably still there, and there's 32 years of fucking garbage piled up everywhere. I mean, it's unbelievable. I was pretty shocked, to be honest with you. It's been a while since I've traveled around third world country, and meanwhile, the leaders of the unelected leaders of the world are meeting in Sharm el-Sheikh while we were there about the environment and what they're going to do.
Well,
to us to fix the weather and the environment.
The elected leaders.
No, they're unelected leaders. Yeah, they're unelected.
Wasn't it like Joe Biden and?
Well, I mean, some of them are elected, I guess, but there's a bunch of unelected ones too, aren't there? I mean, the EU, and all. I mean, there's a bunch of people that aren't elected.
Probably, yes. Also, elected.
Anyways, the point is that
Egypt is
doesn't it kind of seem weird to
garbage and two-stroke exhaust for sure. It's hard to breathe in the one town. Aswan was a little better.
Luxor, right?
Luxor was hard to breathe.
Yeah.
But the sites were amazing. I think it gets real sick of people asking you for money.
Yeah. But the garbage, like, I just want to put this in context because I don't want to judge them as a people or anything, but there's something wrong with the system right now where they, all the leaders want to milk the first world countries for stuff. And then is that money going to ever get to the third world? I mean, how many years have we been talking about this now? And the canals are filled with garbage. The dirt piles full of garbage on the streets full of garbage. It's like they don't have garbage cans there. It's the strangest thing. You go look for a garbage can, there's no garbage cans because they don't have a system, I guess, to pick up the garbage. And I don't know if the government, I mean, should the government get involved, more involved, less involved? I mean, when we talk about our freedoms here and like sort of anarchy and liberty and all that, like what the fuck is going on over there?
What are we going to do with that garbage?
Sometimes they seem happy and content for the most part. So I don't want to judge them living in a mess. But it can't be healthy when it's in the farm fields. Did you see the farm fields? What's so funny?
Nothing. You're funny.
There's garbage all over the farm fields. Like it's
a disaster. It's an ecological disaster.
And right. And they're there meeting COP27. And it's like they haven't even started to clean up this disaster. And how many other countries? I mean, my buddy said Greece was just as bad now. I don't think it could be just as bad. I mean, I don't remember Greece being that bad 30 years ago when I was there.
It can't be that bad.
No, it can't be. But he said it was. He said there's garbage everywhere.
The one canal was like glowing. It was like glowing blue. The one canal was glowing, it seemed like.
Wow. So
And
how
there's a
come they
dead
don't
dog.
have like?
There's a dead dog beside it, and
Well, I
another.
wanted to tell you, and a dead cow. I saw dead dogs on the street, dead cows. I saw a dog with his tail hanging by a thread.
There's a lot of dogs.
And cats on the street.
Yeah.
It's such a weird. Yeah. I guess I was a culture shock a little bit, even though I've traveled a lot. It just, I don't know. You think there'd be an incinerator? Like you know how they have coal-fired power plants and stuff? Couldn't you just crush the garbage down and incinerate it, burn it, scrub the fumes, and create energy?
Yeah,
Wasn't
you probably
there a
could.
solution here?
But there's no money in it. So the government's not doing it. So where do you get the money? It's hard to privatize garbage when you could just throw it out your window.
Yeah, no, I understand it's just, I guess there is money to be spent because there's money in these other things. There's money being thrown around everywhere for the wrong reasons, obviously. But I mean, Egypt is like the most popular ancient mysteries country, and it doesn't, there's no sort of downward benefit to the people there at all.
Sure doesn't seem like it. They were pretty nice to us, though, other than wanting money all the time.
Yeah, they seem pretty content and happy. They're waving. When you go down a few hours out of town, I guess, would that be on the edge of the Nile Valley, like where we're kind of getting into the desert?
Yeah, I think so.
Abydos and that kind of thing. The people are just waving at the buses, like happy to see tourists there.
Everyone wants money. The police.
Yeah. The airport helpers.
The guys at the airport want money. Come on, just give me a little something. I got kids. All the way, right until you're out of customs. They're hitting you up for money. I'm surprised the customs guy wasn't like, come on, man, give me $10. Or I could ruin your day. But what are you going to do? The sights or something else. You got eaten by fleas the first day. We went in the Osiris shaft the second day.
No, that was the first day, really. The Osiris shaft was the first morning. Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah. That was on the Giza Plateau.
Weren't you eating already from the day before?
No. That was the day. So yeah, we went deep down into the Osiris shaft, and it's funny because we saw that granite box. Was it a granite box down there? What was that box made of? It's like 50 feet down underneath there. There was this heavy box. There was two heavy boxes actually.
Two.
I think I got a picture of you jumping in and out of one of them, but it's funny because that really. I didn't realize how contextual that box would be on our trip, because that was kind of one of the things that we saw many times over and over was these precisely made granite boxes, whether it was in the King's Chamber or the Serapeum or some of the temples, like a sepulcher type box made out of granite. And Elephantine Island, there was these huge precise boxes that were just sort of left there, or they ended up there through a cataclysm or disaster. One of them was all broken up. The other one was mostly intact, lying in the sand.
Did you go down to the third level?
Yeah.
Where you could just like balance and look around in the water?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that level too. Was that the fourth level down or the third level? I mean,
that was the third level down.
Did you?
Yeah, I'm looking at pictures of that sludge down there. Well, you couldn't go down there because it was full of water.
Yeah, I just looked. I looked around as much as I could. Underground tunnels all over the place there. I mean, it really is interesting. I think they're all probably
the
all
one
connected.
box does look like granite or basalt, I think.
It seemed black, but there was also a weird film on it too.
And there was some bones down there, some human bones. It's good.
And then we saw the small pyramid that Russ, like if you could probably watch Russ's presentation called Unfinished on our YouTube channel, and he shows the small pyramid. So we got to see where they had flattened the granite casing stones in the back, and there's a huge radius left on the edge. So it's almost like unfinished. That's pretty cool to see it in person. And we climbed up the side of that pyramid, and I was on the highest casing stone that I guess was left on the opposite side of that pyramid. And it's this huge granite casing stone with a super smooth, flat top surface with a tiny little lip on the front where it was going to get where it would have been all flattened down on the front. I mean, how were they doing that?
Scooping it.
But scooping it on the outside, but also how flat they were to fit together on the insides, you know? Like that top that we were hanging out on there was so flat.
Yeah. There's definitely something to see that shit in person. They're definitely up to something clever.
Because we didn't even know. We were just looking and we're like, oh, we'll scoot up because nobody's at the small pyramid. Everybody's at the big pyramid. So we just scooted up, and then you notice that, oh my God, on top of this thing, it's that super flat.
I got some rocks from there too.
Good thing I got pulled over in customs.
Yeah, I had like 8 pounds of rocks.
And then we next day we went to the museum in Luxor. Or no, sorry.
I got on a camel for free, and then buddy charged me 200 pounds to get off.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Didn't see it coming. Should have seen it coming. By the last day, I would have seen that coming. I'd be like, get the fuck away from me.
I'm sure Yusuf made a couple of jokes about that. You know, they put clothes on for free, and then to get them off, they charge you. Or yeah.
So I got a couple of pictures, and then he wanted money to get off the camel. And it's a long jump from a camel down. Farther than you think.
Yep. What, didn't the camel get on its knees and lay off?
It did after I gave him money.
Oh my God. That's hilarious. So what'd you think of the museum then?
I was super hungover. So I did not have a good time. Yeah. I got drunk with Kyle the night before and was not having a good time at the museum. But it was kind of cool, I guess. I just wandered around by myself.
Yeah. Again, the Ben stones were there, the tops of the pyramids, I guess. Is that what those are? And some granite statues and some finely worked, I guess the main sort of thing there was there's some bowls and little pieces that were so precisely made that it's hard to imagine they're from 6,000 years ago plus.
In the museum there was?
Yeah, there's a bunch of pictures, yeah.
There was a bunch of cool stuff in the museum for sure. I seen the whole thing. It was, the boxes were cool. Some of those boxes are pretty fancy.
So then the next day we went to Abydos, I think, and the Osirian, which is outside the temple, Abydos. And Abydos is amazing on its own. I mean, it's these temples. They had these huge column granite bases, and I was trying to I should have got Kyle to scan it, because, I mean, Ben was saying he thinks that there was there was, what do you call it when you're picking, when you... the chisel marks on the granite bases. But to me, those huge granite bases looked like there was a real precisely made chamfer, like a massive chamfer on those that seems hard to do by hand. I almost think those granite bases were there along with the Osirian, which is out back, where those big, huge one-piece blocks are, and then more of this unfinished smoothing out of the pillow blocks.
Yeah, well, it could all be on top of it. It's probably all on top of the old stuff.
Yeah.
It's almost like they built that temple there so you can't find it. But the Osirian was fucking wild. Those are massive rocks. And yeah, probably maybe the best evidence of smoothing, because you can see it in a couple different directions. Mind you, the quarry's pretty good too. But I think the Osirian and the quarry where you can really see the tool marks. Maybe it's not scooping. It could be grinding.
Well, I don't know. I don't think so. It's not. You can't really see the tool marks. You just see the shape left over from the tool, right?
Yeah,
It's
like
the scoop.
tool
It's the
mark.
magic ice cream scoop. I mean, to me,
Well, it
it's an
doesn't have to
alchemical
be a
magic
microwave scoop. It could be a.
microwave.
It doesn't have to be a whatever scoop. It could be like an oval shaped diamond tipped wheel that's just grinding out. It's like a foot wide. I could draw you.
Did somebody tell you? Did somebody?
Me and Marty were going over it.
Oh, Marty wouldn't tell me.
Oh,
He told you? Fuck. When did he tell you that?
I don't know what Marty's coming up with, but me and Marty were talking about different things.
Well, Chuck and Marty came up with this thing, and he wanted to flesh it out before he told anybody about it.
Yeah, I could draw you a picture what I think the tip of that thing could look like.
But there's so many different sizes of it. So you just say there's a whole bunch of different size diamond rotating tips.
Well, I don't think there is. I think it's just you could be seeing overlap.
Maybe. Yeah. There did seem to be a somewhat standard size, but there was also smaller ones. And
I think the smaller ones could be from overlap.
isn't that still a lot of work mechanically removing the stone though? I have a hard time with the whatever you're doing mechanically seems to me like it would be a waste of time.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know how quick it could go if you had like some badass fucking machine, you know?
Yeah, maybe.
It might go pretty quick.
Because it's super obvious when you go to the quarry. I mean,
And because I feel like it has to be turning into dust or powder or something because there's no fucking scoop where they emptied the scoop, you know? Where's all that?
well, it's blocks. There's blocks like that's what the pillow on the outside of the blocks is.
Yeah, so when they scrape that off, where's all that?
Yeah, exactly.
If it's all ground to dust, then it's
I
just
mean, there is
sand.
piles and piles of dirt and sand. I mean, holy shit. When you go to that, remember where we went to the bent pyramid, the red pyramid, and the other one? There was just huge piles of bits of rock and clay jars and just massive piles. So what was I going to say about that? Just that it was So we're all sitting in we're just sort of jumping ahead to the quarry now where we're sitting in this lecture that you have to watch on a VHS tape from, I don't know, maybe the early 90s or something. And it's talking about how they think they're removing this material with a diorite ball, like you're banging a ball against the granite. And we all in the room just started laughing. It was really kind of organic the way everybody just started giggling. And then there's balls out there. I took a couple of videos of it, and did you try hitting the ball on the granite to remove some material? I mean, it's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
That's a waste of time.
To think that they're actually saying that they're removing material with a ball on this granite is ridiculous.
I jumped down beside the obelisk and got in trouble.
Yeah.
Not real trouble, though. You just wanted money.
Yeah.
They just want money. But
So then, go ahead.
I think at the Osirian, you got evidence of two different. You've got the one tool mark coming down it, and then there's another tool that's running horizontally that seems to be sanding it smoother. You can see two different finishes too. Super smooth, and you can see prep for where they put the columns.
So you think the columns, those that are smooth, those are smooth, and then the one where they had the first layer off on the wall was rougher?
Well, you can see even where they had the first layer off on the wall, you can see where they came down, and there's a bunch of vertical tool marks, and then there's also horizontal ones.
I don't know if I saw the horizontal ones. Yeah, I'll have to look at my pics and see.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was amazing to see that in person. Yeah.
It was a long bus ride, but it was worth it.
Yeah.
So hot and dry.
And then after that was Dendera, and Dendera is famous for the celestial things on the ceiling. And that was quite a temple, right? I mean, didn't we walk all the way up and down? Oh, that's the one with the crypt too, right? And the light bulbs and And then you walk all the way up to the roof, and the roof, there's a huge rooftop sort of patio type thing almost. And the blocks around the roof must have been, I wanted to calculate this before, because that temple is so big in my mind, it felt like it could have been the small pyramid size. People were disagreeing with me, but I felt like there was so many
huge.
blocks around the outside. They were 40, 50 feet up on the edge, and all these like precisely made sandstone blocks. I don't know, like it just doesn't seem like, how the fuck do you get those up there? And this isn't even getting into theories of pre-dynastic. This was just the dynastic Egyptians that built probably the temple over something else, right?
That was the first place you could get into like some rooms and really be by yourself for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dendera was cool because it had the most color left. It was fun.
Yeah.
But I can't remember that there was a lot of there wasn't as much old stuff there.
No, there
old
wasn't.
kingdom.
But it was like Yusuf says, and I do want to mention this, like, because we are there to sort of try and see the difference between like what Ben would say, the two, what does he call it? There's two stories, two tales of civilization, or two tales of technology there. But Yusuf's always saying, don't underestimate the dynastic Egyptians either, in as far as like capabilities go, or artistry or creativity. And Dendera is a good example.
Yes.
How would you move those 40 or however big those blocks are? There's like hundreds of those blocks all around the edge of the roof.
And
40,
in the
50
middle of the
feet
roof
high,
too.
Like how? I just...
And the crazy circular stairwells. There's the basement down there you could go into, right?
Yeah, the crypt.
Crazy little rooms all over. It's wild.
Yeah.
And hieroglyphs everywhere.
Yeah.
Hieroglyphs everywhere, all the time. Except in the pyramids. None of the pyramids any hieroglyphs in them.
Or Osirian.
Or the Assyrian.
Or the Elephantine Island granite boxes. I mean, that's what sort of Ben has been saying, is like the hieroglyphs aren't on the leftover ancient stuff. It seems it's all there afterwards, and there's good examples of it being not very precise work, but there is precise granite statue work with the Egyptian headdress and stuff, and we're almost thinking that those statues were there pre-dynastic, and then that's what they used to copy and get into all the hieroglyphs and copy that main sort of granite statue with the Egyptian with the headdress later on in dynastic times.
They made it the gods.
Yeah. I mean, imagine coming across those massive granite colossal statues. Like, I mean, you would think, imagine a civilization trying to start up after a cataclysm, and you come across like 50-foot fucking granite statues that are precisely made. I mean, what else would you think? Giants and gods. I mean, Luxor Temple after sunset. That's where we went after Dendera, and it was huge statues. You remember the Luxor Temple at in dusk?
Yeah.
It was all lit up. Just
that place
gorgeous.
was cool too, yeah. Right at the end of the Avenue of the Sphinxes with those giant statues.
Yeah, 3.5 kilometers long that connects Luxor to Karnak.
Karnak was better.
Imagine how, those two temples being connected, probably 5 kilometers in total.
Yeah, Karnak was
punks.
better, I think, than Luxor.
Yeah.
It had some cool monoliths, not monoliths, what are they called?
Obelisks.
Obelisks. It had some cool obelisks there for sure.
And the junkyard, and we saw more colossal thumb. We saw a colossal thumb and hand from a giant statue. And then those blocks, those granite blocks that were so eroded, and they're just sitting in this causeway. Like, seems like there was some ancient granite stuff at that temple of Karnak. And it was, again, sort of built around there.
Super old granite, like maybe was a block 50,000 years ago. Can't be less than 30.
Yeah. Even though it was underwater, that whole temple was buried, right? Under the Nile, the water at some point.
Don't matter. Can't get like that. None of the other granites like that. Even those obelisks aren't like that. The obelisks are like way newer than those granite blocks were.
Yeah. And those are all one piece, right? Obelisks, one piece. I mean, that's the other thing. Ben
like,
kind of draws the line at three
things. It's like the new one, and then there's those obelisks that were like one that was better than the new one, and then there's whatever those granite were, which is either a previous civilization or like that same civilization that's making the obelisk, but that other shit was way older.
Yeah.
Who knows how long they existed for.
And those obelisks are one piece. Like Ben's sort of saying, like, he draws the line at like 300 tons, right? That something sort of 300 tons and under is somewhat manageable, but once you get over that, it's almost impossible to move mechanically without some sort of advanced technology. And some of those obelisks and those colossal statues are 1,000 tons, right? What is that for pounds?
1,000 pounds is
no. What's 1,000 tons?
1,000 tons is 2 million.
2 million pounds.
Yeah.
I mean, 2 million pounds.
2 million pounds.
So what's 300 tons is 600,000.
600,000 pounds.
1,000 pounds. So, I mean, so
It's a
crazy.
lot. It's a lot. Where'd we go next?
The next day was the hot air balloon ride over the Valley of the Kings and the Ramesseum, the Colossi of Memnon, and then the Luxor Museum later on. So the hot air balloon ride was pretty incredible. The sun rising, and what a weird experience. All the vans getting down to the balloons and people getting lined up and
The van
ready
ride to the
jump in
boat ride
balloons
to the
and-
van ride to the balloon ride.
at 5 a.m.
It was quite an experience, though.
Yeah. And from up there, you could see the Valley of the Kings and the Ramesseum and the colossal statues. And again, more temples on the other side of the Nile this time.
Almost getting temple fatigue by this point.
Yeah. What did you think of those colossal statues, though? Or that one at the Ramesseum? The other brilliant thing about
Was that
this
the
is we're at the
huge
Ramesseum.
one that was falling over?
Yeah, and we're at that temple by ourselves. I mean, this is what the other good thing is. We had these special permissions where we're not in there with a million tourists. I mean, some, like the museum, of course we are, and the Giza Plateau, sometimes we are. But, I mean, in there, in the Ramesseum, we're the only ones in there just hanging out with that colossal statue.
Yeah, getting in trouble for climbing on stuff. That was the one that was 1,000 tons.
Yeah.
And we had lunch right across the street.
Yeah. And then the next day, we went to the Karnak Temple, which we
Karnak
sort of
was
already
great,
talked about.
yeah.
Yeah. And the very old granite blocks, the statues, again, obelisks, huge ceiling blocks, and these rooms, and those rooms that were made out of, what were they like? I think they were like religious rooms, almost like sepulchres in a way. They were made out of weird materials, stones, I think, stone materials, those rooms. Do you remember that?
I don't remember the rooms. Did they have bats in there? Is that what the bats were?
No. And then we went onto the ship. So the good thing is we flew down to Luxor, and then we went on the ship down to Aswan, and then we flew from Aswan back up to Cairo.
Yes.
So then we went on the ship, and we stopped at the Edfu Temple and Komombo.
I missed those ones. I was sick that day with the COVID.
You didn't have the COVID. Actually, you might have. A couple people had the shivers or the sweats.
COVID manifests in a lot of ways. You still have
It
COVID.
does,
You
it
have long
does.
COVID again.
Yeah. I got long bio weapon. So that's where they worship the god Sebek, the crocodile god. There's a bunch of crocodile mummies there. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I missed that one. It's too bad.
And then we went to Abu Simbel the next morning. It's about a 3-hour drive down south where they moved that massive temple of all those statues. the massive temple in the 60s. I think they moved it.
I got the pictures. I bought the picture pack from there.
Yeah. And then it starts to kind of, this is kind of to me where it kind of got a little bit more, this is where it ramped up again, because the next day was the Aswan quarry, which we talked about, where the huge obelisk was, and the huge to-be statue, I guess, where Kyle got an amazing scan. Did you see Kyle's scan today of that?
I did see the scan. Yeah, I'm gonna get one of them LiDAR phones.
Was that ever unbelievable, the scan? He got right underneath there, and you can see this statue that's almost excavated out of this
out of the granite.
Was it granite?
I think it's granite. It might not be granite.
Yeah, I don't think that quarry
granite.
was granite quarry. I think that was a sandstone quarry, but still amazing. I mean, they still use that technology.
I don't think it's sandstone.
Okay, you look that up and I'll keep talking. So then we went to the Philae temple after that, and the Isis temples within there. That was another temple that was moved from the Nile. When they built the big dam, they moved it from down the water a little bit onto this island. And it's funny because they talk about some of these modern moves, and they don't even have the things lined up to the sun and lined up cardinally as accurate as they did in the past, which is kind of interesting. And then the highlight was Elephantine Island, where we saw those massive granite boxes that were lying there, which to me looked exactly like the sepulcher we saw in, I think it was in the Philae temple. Do you remember that temple that had the boat coming out of the sepulcher in the back, and it looked like a blue granite?
No.
You don't remember that?
No.
Should I show you a picture of it? I mean, this probably would be a good time to show you that picture. But you're looking. Do you have info on the Aswan quarry now?
Yeah, I can't find granite. Yeah, Aswan granite quarry.
Oh, it is granite.
That's what it says on the internet.
It makes sense because the obelisks are usually granite, aren't they?
Yes. The good ones. The scoop ones. Scoop-a-loop. What are you looking for again?
I'm looking for that sort of, I don't know if it's technically called a sepulcher or not, but it's that granite box that they use to worship in the back of the temple with the boat coming out of it. And what I wanted to show you was how, there it is. I found it. Okay, I'm just going to share my screen quickly with you here.
Sure.
So can you see this?
Yes.
So this is that. Do you remember that? Now look at that box in the back there with the pyramid-shaped top.
There either. I didn't go there.
Oh, you didn't go there?
No.
With the boat coming out? So You see that box in the back that's like the worship thing, right?
Yeah, it looks like the one at the Elephantine Island.
Yeah, exactly. And this is what they would apparently build their temples around. To work, they'd find these granite things, and then they'd use them to worship. Here's another view of it, right? Now, isn't that exactly what those boxes were like on Elephantine Island?
Yes.
I mean, was that brought up on the trip? I mean, I don't think we really made a point about that.
I think we did.
You think so?
Yeah. I think that was the point, because a bunch of people showed me that picture.
And then I'm just going to try and skip through here and find that box on Elephant. And here's the box on Elephantine Island that looks like exactly like it. I mean,
yes, I agree.
You know,
no one else can see but me, and I agree.
But I mean, but it's the thing that's, and we'll do like, maybe we'll do a slideshow presentation for YouTube or something. But the amazing thing is these boxes are like, what, 10 feet by 8 feet by 8 feet type thing, or 15 feet by 8 by 8 maybe. And they're just precisely made. I mean, the grooves, they have beveled edges, and they look very, very precise. Like, it would be hard to find a CNC machine in the modern age that could do that. And if you did, it would have to be the size of a fucking gym.
It'd be very big, yes. And then we started crawling into pyramids, right?
Yeah, man. After that was back. Oh yeah, see, we already came back to Cairo, so that part of the trip seemed to go by pretty fast. Then we went back to Cairo and to Dashur, the bent and red pyramid, to me, which was quite a highlight. I mean, we went to sort of crawling underneath, and the interesting part about that to me was that you can see Giza from there, and you can turn around and see. No, I think I'm getting this wrong. You can see the step pyramid from there. From the step pyramid, you can see Giza, and you can see the bent and red pyramid. It's all in a line. So the step pyramid also had Saqqara. Yeah, there's also Abu Ghurab and Abu Sir, which is in that line too, which is where the massive obelisk used to be. So all these pyramids and that obelisk are all in line. Like you can turn one way exactly and see the Great Pyramid, turn around the other way and see the bent or red pyramid. Like, and then when you're at that site, you can see the other ones. Very interesting. And that one, the bent and the red, where we went down underneath, and that seemed to me like, man, we were there all by ourselves again, and I'm like, why isn't this more popular? Hey?
Yeah, I'm glad it wasn't. It would have been awful crowded in there.
But it seems like a little mini Giza, and everybody's just focused on Giza.
Yeah, there's a couple like that. The bent pyramid was the step pyramid was kind of quiet too.
Went underneath in all the chambers, and was that where one of them had the 6 kilometers worth of tunnels?
Yeah, the step pyramid was the only pyramid that seemed like it was made for people in some way. But it's hard to know which tunnels were existing, you know?
If you're going with the ancient sort of pyramid hypothesis, like the pre-dynastic hypothesis, which tunnels were existing then?
Yeah, but it seemed to be much different than the other pyramids, which, in my opinion, seemed to be very clearly machines.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But not the step pyramid. The step pyramid seemed like, because there's all the pieces from the old granite vases in there and the tiled rooms and stuff.
Oh, that was 6 levels down, that one. Yeah.
Yeah, it seemed more like a city, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
But all the other pyramids seemed like machines, for sure.
What was the one? But was that the one that had all those granite blocks making that huge granite square in the middle?
Yes.
You're walking through all these tunnels, and then you pop into this big room with high ceiling, huge shaft. You're basically at the bottom of this huge shaft, and there's 15 of these massive granite stones together in a big square or cube with a massive rod of granite through the center of it.
Rod?
Like a key, like some sort of key. Did you see? Yeah, like it was a huge cylindrical rod slammed through the middle of this huge granite square. It was very, very weird. That was kind of one of those cool surprises because I didn't know that was coming.
Yeah. That was a cool spot. I liked it.
Yeah. And then what about the, which one was the one where we climbed all the way up those staircases and the bats were up there and the, the
red pyramid, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah. The architects were in there. The archaeologists were in there. I think it was more than 100 years ago, maybe, or something. And they would feel, when they walked in, they would feel this draft coming from down the hallway. And I guess they realized after it happened a couple times that there's like they call it a portcullis, but it's really like a sliding door that opens and closes for who knows whether it's sound or wind or something to allow it through the shafts. And all the way up there's bats in the top of the cave. That was pretty creepy.
Yeah. That's when they started. That one really looks like a machine to me, and it starts to have all have that same shape, the stepped shape in there, and
But I mean, wouldn't that be how you would build a pyramid? On the inside would have a step shape like that? I mean, you'd have to have a pretty accurately...
Well, why? You can make a giant chamber like the King's Chamber if you want. Why not just make a bunch of those?
Well, because it would be easier to start with a pyramid in the middle, right? Like those baffled chambers are pyramid shaped in a way.
No, not really. And they're only two-sided.
They're two-sided. Yeah, that's a good point. They're not four-sided. It's not like a central pyramid.
No.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good point. Yeah.
And
it's more long and thin, really.
And it's different rocks.
Is it?
Yes.
Fuck. What was the one where Russ was doing the resonance in the hallway between the two chambers?
In the Great Pyramid?
No, I don't know. It wasn't the Great Pyramid.
I don't know.
It might have been in the Red Pyramid. It was either in the red or the first pyramid. And he had his mouth up in the corner. And I couldn't even tell he was doing anything. And you should have heard it was like, I got it on video actually. Holy shit, dude. And I couldn't make it happen. I wasn't going low enough, and I couldn't stand up tall enough on my tippy toes to get into the corner of the hallway. But that's where I feel like resonance. You were talking the other day about how resonance isn't really important for energy, but I mean, isn't that an application of free energy? If Russ is barely,
I didn't say it wasn't
audible.
Important. I just said it wasn't. I don't think it indicates like anything magic or supernatural, because I think any finely tuned machine was going to resonate. Especially something with machine surfaces, like insides of motors and stuff like that are like, polished so fine they shine and all the corners are rounded perfectly. I think all that shit will resonate.
Because he was hardly even doing it, and I couldn't even tell that he was making that noise, and it was super loud in there.
Yeah, I think if you want, I think any really good inside anything really well made would do that.
Yeah.
Like if you go inside like a oil tanker or like a milk truck or something, those trucks that take the milk down the highway. If you go inside one of those and hum, I feel like it would resonate in there too.
Mm-hmm. So then after that, I mean, we kind of mentioned the Saqqara and the step pyramid, but that's where the Serpent was.
Which is wild. The Serapeium's crazy because those boxes are perfect. They all resonate too. Which makes you wonder why. Why make a box so perfect?
So perfect, but yet so imperfect as well. Like, because they've got these big gouges, like they're chasing cracks out of the granite or something. Or I think of balancing a turbine wheel, grinding the little parts off of a turbine wheel to get that perfect balance. Maybe it's to make the resonance perfect, because if you have a crack, it'll kind of ruin that.
Yeah, or
maybe
a
it
weak
has to
point.
be solid.
It's hard to say, but they're giant. They're fucking big.
And they're not all the same size, though, either.
And some of them have different veins of color running through them. Different, where the rock is different. So, it's one solid piece for sure, not a geopolymer. That was the second last day, was it?
No, third last day. Then we had Abu Ghurab and Abu Sir after that. So that's where we went. And when I was mentioning, they used to have the massive obelisk that was in sight of Giza and in sight of the bent pyramid on the other side.
Ooh, that's right.
Sorry, the step pyramid. So you can see the step pyramid from where the obelisk mount was, and you can see Giza. And when you go to the step, you can see Giza, and you can also see the red and the bent.
That's where I climbed a pyramid.
Yeah. And I happened to be looking and get you on video.
Did you?
Yeah.
At that one too? I climbed 2 pyramids.
Oh, no, I didn't see that one. No.
Yeah, I climbed 2 pyramids that day.
So what did you think of that star fort shaped.
Meh.
Was that calcite there? That was there or something?
I don't know. Why do you say it like? Why do you say it like that? Calcite.
Because that's what the way.
I like
That's the way
was that the
Yusuf
place
said
with the bowls?
Yeah, the bowls.
Well,
Yeah.
Yusuf is Egyptian.
Well, I'm appropriating his culture.
You're appropriating his accent. Was that the place with the bowls?
Yes, the huge calcite bowls and drill holes and
Calcite
nubs.
bowls, the huge calcite bowls.
Are they calcite? I'm not sure if they're calcite.
You really like saying that word, eh?
They might be. What's the other thing they might have been?
I don't know. I don't think they are. But they're definitely cool bowls in one big piece. And they seem to be like all identical.
And for what? You know?
I found some old, super worn down granite there too. But I'd never heard of either of those places.
I know it's interesting because when you hear the Snake Brothers and Ben talk about all this stuff, like how good the pyramids were that weren't in Giza, you just I kind of just sloughed it off and like, oh yeah, whatever. But then when you go there, it's like, holy shit, this is unbelievable in person. And it makes me wonder if it's all underground, connected underground. I mean, there's all these tunnels under Giza. There's all like 6 kilometers of tunnel under that other pyramid, and it's in view of Giza. I mean, as if it's not all underground connected.
Yeah, it probably is. All the way from Aswan to Cairo. There's probably shit under the desert.
Well, and then who knows, Turkey. Apparently they're unearthing massive underground cities in Turkey. So did it, are they connected under the Mediterranean? Or are they connected down through Israel on the side of the Mediterranean? And then there's rumors of it connecting up to the UK in tunnels. I mean, fuck, who knows, man? So much to explore.
UK tunnels. Wonder if we could send you down into the tunnels in Egypt and see where you pop up.
Exactly.
Start a GoFundMe. Send Graham in the tunnels. I'm not a big tunnel guy, so I'm out.
Yeah, it gets a bit creepy with the bats, and somebody else was talking about some other beast that hangs out in the tunnels that would, yeah. Be kind of scary to come across. Oh, spider. It was a type of spider, like a massive spider. I'm like, ugh. Imagine like opening up a false door into a tunnel that hasn't been seen in thousands of years and it's full of fucking giant spiders.
And they eat you.
So then after that was our last day. It was Giza, 2 hours in the Sphinx enclosure and the Sphinx temple, which Ben and our guide Yusuf had never been in before. And again, like these granite, like it looks like machined granite casing stones that were all around the top, like in this beautiful sort of, circular shape.
And super old.
Almost like a granite crown molding for the Sphinx temple. I mean,
super old.
And again, in there, they cut these corners. They cut the corners into the huge block. It's like, it must have been very functional to have a corner made out of a block instead of putting 2 blocks together to make a corner.
Seemed.
And it must have been easy to do because they did it everywhere. What?
Yeah, it had to be either easy to do or super important for some reason.
Yeah.
Because it seems like a pain in the ass. And then we had 2 hours in the pyramid by ourselves.
Yeah. I mean, it was so nice to be in the Sphinx enclosure by ourselves too, and the Sphinx temple, and not rushing around. I mean, we had 2 hours there and 2 hours in the Great Pyramid. I mean, to me, that was completely worth it.
Yes, the pyramid is something else.
Yeah,
completely unsupervised in the Great Pyramid for 2 hours, with the video cameras pointed at the turned around and pointed at the wall. I mean,
what does that mean?
You didn't notice all the video cameras were like pointed up to the ceiling, or they were all jiggered to not watch what we were up to.
Oh, I didn't notice that.
Yeah. I noticed that right away.
We were doing resonance in the box in the King Chamber. I mean, we were all just sitting in there quiet and kind of meditating and listening, like feeling the resonance in the King's Chamber. And,
smoking weed.
well, some of us were. Darren was. Found his way down there. And then we went down to the underground too, right? We went to the underground passage.
Subterranean chamber. It was great. It was a perfect capstone. And then we didn't sleep and went to the airport and flew around all over. And Graham, thought he was going to lose his legs. I'm glad you didn't lose your legs, buddy.
Yeah. They were pretty sore.
Do you think he'll live?
Oh, yeah. I'll be fine.
But you still have COVID.
I don't think so.
What do you got? What are your symptoms?
My ears mainly.
Still from the plane?
It could be just jet lag, honestly.
Yeah, it's probably jet lag.
And I think I'm just detoxing all the crap from Egypt too. Like it was so dusty and dirty, and I've been blowing huge chunks. My nose is sort of bleeding from the dryness in Calgary too. So
it was very two-strokey.
I don't know what you mean by that.
Well, those two-stroke motors are just burning the fucking oil. They're just burning gas mixed with oil.
Yeah, right.
So it's just
all over the farm. Remember those little cabs everywhere?
All that shit is running two-stroke. Just we don't even allow that shit on our streets. They're fucking everywhere there. It doesn't go anywhere. It just hovers. It smells nice though in small doses. And that was our trip to Egypt. It was amazing. It was great to come home.
Yeah.
It's a lot of flying.
Yeah.
I'm glad I had a window for the last leg. It really was so much better.
Yep.
I'm sorry
I don't know how I traveled it by backpack when I was young. I really don't know how I did it.
You're in much better shape.
I mean, not as adventurous now in my old age. I just want to go with the tour.
You're just looking at ancient curmudgeon.
Yeah. And it was a bit overwhelming though, because we're looking at it from all aspects. Of course, the mainstream Egyptian thing, you're seeing all the hieroglyphs, but you're also looking for, older sort of granite stuff and drill holes and saw marks. And, there is chances things change on these sites all the time, and there is chances you can find something.
It's true. I found a lot of rocks. Maybe some other stuff too. Who knows? Anything else? We wrap it up.
I think we can wrap it up. I'll put show note. I'll put a link to UnchartedX. I mean, honestly, if anybody's thinking about going to Egypt, you got to go with Ben and Yusuf. UnchartedX and Yusuf's the Khemit School of Ancient Mysticism. It's fantastic.
Couldn't recommend it enough. UnchartedX.com. I think he's doing the tour every year. And it was fantastic. Of course, we got the DB Cooper stuff coming out next weekend. Other than that, support the show. Grimerica.ca/support. Can't do it without you guys. I think that's about it. We love you guys. Thanks for listening. We will see you next week.